necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions of the views and opinions expressed in this broadcast do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions of WBGR Network. Any questions or concerns about what is said should be directed to the show host, whose information will be provided upon request.
Sports is what we do. It's the fast track at peak speed, moving across the ice, blockers, hitters, B-team, beatdowns, and knockouts, doubleheaders, playoffs, touchdowns, smackdowns, on the mat or on the track. The spirit of a champion. The triple-double. Make that double front flip. This is what we do.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is your boy Shane Hector from the No BS, No Holds Barred Sports Talk Show. I'm back in the building once again on this lovely Saturday morning right after Black Friday and Thanksgiving. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving because I know what I'm thankful for, and I'm thankful for a lot of things. I'm thankful for this network. I'm thankful for the people who have been supporting me. I'm very thankful for the people running my show. Shout out to both Mr. Williams, my man Brandon, and Shayna in the back right now. I appreciate you both for the hard work that you guys do every morning for my show. So those are the things I am most certainly thankful for. I'm thankful for my mom and the hard work she does with with my graphics, every single show, and the stats that I'm able and the stats that we put up every day for the show. So I definitely want to thank and I thank all of my fans who watch me, who've been supporting me, who's always said that I will most certainly be on that path to greatness. I thank all of my fans who tune into the show every morning. Thank you. So this morning we're gonna have a lot to discuss. There's gonna be some very in-depth discussion this morning. So I want everybody to get ready to call in. The number to call is gonna be 301-429-9247. That's gonna be the number to call. I want people to call in. Let me know what you think. All right. So it's gonna get real. It's gonna be popping, and I want people to understand how serious the discussion is going to be this morning. So let's go ahead and look at the topics this morning. Let's go ahead and scroll to that. So 4 topics. Let's go past this one right here. And past that one right there, of course. And there's a number to call. So we're going to talk about the Cowboys and Eagles because that is going to be a hot discussion right now. Because right now the NFC East is wide open, especially and it's also going to have, like I said, it's going to have playoff implications. And then also, it's also going to talk about the picks that, unfortunately the Redskins are going to get, because the Redskins, I know for Redskins fans, you guys don't want to hear this, but the truth is your season was long over, and you mathematically have been eliminated anyway. It was eliminated as of 3 weeks ago. It is what it is. So with that being said, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about who's going to go to the Super Bowl. There's a lot of teams that I think that is going to be very, very tough teams in these playoffs. We're going to talk about this man, Lamar Jackson. We definitely going to talk about him because we want to find out who this kid is and what is it and why he's doing the things that he's doing. And then we're going to end it with Colin Kaepernick and wonder, is he really done with the NFL? Is he really, really done? So, these are all discussions we're going to talk about today. So, with that being said, let's move forward to the Eagles and Cowboys because that's going to be the first topic of the day. So Eagles and Cowboys. The truth is, I know there's a lot of Cowboys fans who are not too happy about this, about the loss to New England and then this past loss to the Buffalo Bills. The truth is you lost to 2 good teams. I didn't want to say that the Bills were for real, but they're 9-3 for a reason. Josh Allen is playing at a pretty decent level. I'm not going to say a high level, because if he was doing a high level, they'd be dropping like 30 points a game, but they're not. But I have to give credit where credit is due. They did lose to a team that's the number 3 overall defense in the NFL. The only defenses that are better than them is the New England Patriots and the San Francisco 49ers. So those teams respectively have better defenses than the Buffalo Bills. So I hate to say this, the Cowboys lost to a legit team. It wasn't like these guys are bums. They're not bums. So, I mean, I told people when you watch that game, yes, Dak Prescott threw for 355 yards, 2 touchdown passes, and only 1 interception. But the truth is that came late in the game, and not only that, who really who really cares about this? Is it about Dak right now? Because Dak, the truth is, I've been saying this for the longest. If you look at the way the Cowboys play football, okay, the way the Cowboys have been playing football has not been right because of the fact that the Cowboys are not running the football the way they should. Zeke only had 12 carries for 73 yards against that Bills defense. It mind boggles me when you know the run is working and you know you're keeping that quarterback on the sideline. Okay, when you play quarterbacks like Tom Brady or you play quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes or any of these good quarterbacks who can just throw the football, you know you're running the football effectively. So keep running the ball because they can't stop it. And I've seen this time and time again with the Dallas Cowboys. They cannot finish games. I don't understand why they can't finish games, but that's neither here nor there. I'm not gonna. I don't understand it. You have a top 10 talent with Zeke, Dak, Amari Cooper, Randall Cobb, and Michael Gallup. You have then Jason Witten came out of retirement because they were almost sure this is going to be a Super Bowl run team. But I can attribute 2 reasons why they lost to the Bills on Thursday. Main reason, definitely Jason Garrett. I got to give 50% of the blame to him because coaching was was half the reason why they lost this game. There is no reason why you don't. I would have ran it down their throat and dare you to stop me. Because then that would have opened up the play action and then that you would have been able to get some matchups that you wanted because of the fact that Randall Cobb was getting open. You were able to do you wasn't able to really do some things with Amari Cooper because he got shut down the week before. And then when he got shut down the week before, your thinking should have been, I got to get the ball in his hands. That way he could get down there, go get the yards that he needed to get the touchdowns. Because the truth is Tre'Davious White went to work. He already came into the game with 4 interceptions, and in that game he ended up with 5. It is what it is, And Dak only got sacked, but who knows how many times? This is ridiculous. I mean, and this is part of the problem with the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, they're 6-6. Okay, and here's what's really crazy, and I want people to hear these stats loud and clear when I say this. The defense overall is number 8 in the NFL. Their offense overall, according to footballreference.com, is number 8 overall. You got a top 10 defense, but you're 6-6. You got a top 10 offense, but you're 6-6. There is an issue here. There's definitely an issue. Okay? Dak in that game, like I said, I don't understand it. I just don't get it. I don't understand how this dude is not able to do the things that he should be doing with the roster that he got. Zeke right now in 12 games got 990 yards rushing, 7 touchdowns on 227 carries, okay? Now, there's 4 games left. He'll finish with over 1,300 yards rushing. I'm almost certain of it. He's averaging 4.4 yards a carry, and not to mention he's averaging 82.5 yards a game, almost 83 yards a game, okay? So he's doing extremely, extremely well. The problem is, and this is where it comes into play, I don't understand how you've got 3 receivers, okay? Amari Cooper, 976 yards, 7 touchdowns. He's leading the team in receiving touchdowns, okay? Michael Gallup was 796, and then Randall Cobb's got 634 yards. You got 3 receivers that are all 1,000-yard receivers. You got literally 3 receivers, you got 1,000-yard receivers, but you're 6-6. Okay, Dak Prescott. I'm gonna throw these stats out to you guys. There's 3,788 yards, 23 touchdowns, and 11 picks. Now I want people to understand this about Dak Prescott. The fact that he's thrown these kind of numbers You would think that this dude is having a stellar season and is making a case to get paid. He's literally making a case to get paid. He can most certainly probably get 30 touchdowns at the end of the year. That's what's really crazy about this. But you want to know why it's not going to matter? Because he's not winning. He's only got 6 wins and 6 losses. But I attribute that not so much Dak, not so much Zeke. I attribute that to coaching. There is no reason why. Let's go back to some of their losses this season, right? When they lost to New Orleans, they lost 12-10. And they lost to Green Bay by 10. Then they lost to the New York Jets. Okay? This is the problem with this team. You lost to the New York Jets 24-22, okay? Then you lose to the Minnesota Vikings. Now, I kind of knew they was going to lose to Minnesota. But you lost to Minnesota, okay? Then you lose, then you beat the Lions barely. Barely beat the Lions, who are having a bad season, okay? Then you lose to New England, and I get it. It was in Foxborough. Then you get smacked by the Buffalo Bills. Okay? There's only 4 games left. 4 games left. They got a whole week now because they're going to have to see Chicago on Thursday night. They'll probably beat Chicago because Chicago can't stop. Because Chicago right now, I don't know if they know what they're doing right now. And that's just going to be sad. The LA Rams, the Eagles, and then they're going to end the season with the Redskins. I can most certainly tell you, they've got literally 3 potential losses here. I do foresee them losing to the Bears. I don't think they're going to lose to the Rams because the Rams can't get out of their own way. I don't think they're going to lose to the Eagles because, again, the Eagles can't get out of their own way either. And let's be real, the Redskins is god-awful. I will not be surprised if the Cowboys finish the season 9-7 and actually win the division. I will not be surprised. But since we're talking about the Philadelphia Eagles, let's go take a look at them since we're talking about the Eagles and how they can win this division. So the Philadelphia Eagles, for any of you Eagles fans out there, shout out to Royal Hector. Thank you for tuning into the show, sir. And Mr. Brian Gibson, I appreciate your comment and tuning into the show. So here's the truth, right? The Eagles right now, they are 5-6. Okay? Right now, offensively, they're ranked 18 in the NFL. They're ranked 16th in defense, okay? So they're mediocre at best, but we know why they're mediocre, okay? Carson Wentz right now is only throwing 17 touchdowns, 6 picks, and only has 2,500 yards, and he's only played 11 games. So, excuse me. Now, he's going to be playing in this next game, so this will be his 12th game of the year. We'll see how he does. But this is what mind boggles me about the team. You got Jordan Howard, 525 yards. He's averaging 4 yards a carry. There's no reason why this dude should not be fed the ball. I would have been feeding him the ball, but they haven't fed him the ball. This dude's only 25 years old. Feed him the ball. Feed him the ball. Then you'll be straight. Right now, your leader receiver is your tight end, which is Zach Ertz, with 712 yards out of the 2,530 yards that Carson Wentz has thrown. Okay, now in hindsight, 2020. Okay, the truth is they got some real issues here. They're not getting to the quarterback like they used to because, like I said, everybody knows you're not going to let Fletcher Cox really touch your quarterback. Right now, he's only got 3 sacks on the year. Brandon Graham has been picking up the slack. He's got 7.5 sacks, okay? So since he's been picking up the slack, now you have to say to yourself, what am I remaining on my remaining schedule? Who do I got to see? So the next 3 games are cakewalk games. Okay, you can most certainly beat the Dolphins because that's in Miami. I'm pretty sure they'll beat the Dolphins. They're gonna beat the Giants because the Giants can't get out of their own way either because they're trash and they got a rookie quarterback. And then the Redskins also have a rookie quarterback, so they're trash as well. The only team left that could derail the Eagles season is the Dallas Cowboys. Now, if the Cowboys win, then the truth is you got the opportunity to make some changes, and possibly get the division. But since they already lost to the Cowboys once, excuse me, the Cowboys own the tiebreaker. So with that being said, I'm going to choose the Cowboys to win the division. The Eagles are probably not going to be able to do anything about it because they're going to finish 9-7 with their remaining schedule, and then that'll be that, and then that'll be the end of the Philadelphia Eagles this season, and then they'll have to come back and try to re-nurse everybody's injuries and then go into free agency to see what it is they can do, because the way this defense has been playing, it's not conducive to what they need in order for them to produce points and produce touchdowns and produce yards. So it is what it is. So right, that being said, I got the Cowboys winning this division at 10-6. It's gonna be an ugly 10-6. Maybe even 9-7, but I'm gonna err on the side and say they're gonna win their remaining games and go 10-6, and they'll win the division, and then to try to keep pace with the rest of the NFC, because the rest of the NFC this year is very, very strong. They're a lot stronger than most people give them credit for. Because like I told, as I told a colleague of mine, the truth is the truth is there's too many teams that are strong. You've got the Green Bay Packers at 8-3, the Minnesota Vikings at 8-3. Green Bay owns the division right now until they have to play Minnesota again. New Orleans is 10-2. They are going to win the division by far because they're already 5 games ahead of North Carolina, as the Carolina Panthers. San Francisco is 10-1. They still got to play the Ravens though. On Sunday, that's going to be interesting. Seattle is 9-2. They win on Sunday, they will be 10-2. So with that being said, the NFC is going to be up for grabs, which is going into my next topic. So with that being said, I'm going to take a quick commercial break, folks. When I come back, I got more for you guys to talk about. So don't go anywhere on the No BS show.
Veganistic.
It's going to be a veganistic breakfast at Breakfast Mojo, and we're going to give a review at the end of all of this. So let's go ahead and see what we have.
Okay, so what we have here is tofu. And so what you do is you get the tofu in a pack, whichever brand you want to get. It's fine. Get firm tofu and then squeeze the water out in the sink. And once you do squeeze all the water out, because tofu really doesn't have a flavor, it's actually soybean. These little they look like little teeny miniature meatballs. They're sausages. These is Gimme Lean. That is the name of it. So I'm putting them in.
It smells great.
And the reason you don't have to put them in is completely up to you. You know, those of you who
it looks like sausage.
It does look like sausage.
And it looks like egg.
So what we're going to do is we're going to put some peppers and onions in, which I
already prepared.
Already cut up. Red onions, yellow, orange, and red pepper. Now for our green.
Look at that. So what
cilantro.
Is that? Cilantro, folks.
Yes.
Look at the cilantro.
It's fresh cilantro.
Look at the pretty color there.
This right here is garlic and herb. So it's not going to be strong though. Now the minced garlic is strong, but this is not.
Oh, some Italian seasoning.
Yes.
Some rosemary. You know, when it's an Italian medley, it's like a melody. You know what I mean?
This is onion and herb.
Onion and herb.
This is lemon pepper.
Lemon pepper. So that's interesting. That's interesting.
I'm making sure that it is going to have a great flavor. Most of the time when people came down with diabetes or any of those diseases, they were in their 70s and 80s. You know, now people are in their 20s. and they're being diagnosed. So, you definitely want to eat healthier. I'm not telling you to be a vegan. You don't have to. I am. I've been vegan for 32 years. Yes, I usually put the top on because the steam in it, it helps it to cook long. Now, it doesn't take long to cook.
That looks amazing with this
Tofu scramble.
Tofu scramble.
Some people say tofu eggs.
It tastes like eggs. I can't say it's not. You can't tell me anything different. I'm gonna give it a breakfast brilliant. Because I almost feel like this is not enough. Like, I need more.
And it's light. It's light, so you can eat more.
It is light. It is light. It's very flavorful. Breakfast Mojo. I'm Comedian Koi. This is Michelle Mangum. And once again, we'll be back with some more. Don't forget to subscribe with some more Breakfast Mojo. So make sure you tune in, huh?
And I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. Now, this is where things are going to get real fun and real interesting. So, for anybody who's watching and really understanding that here's the truth. All right? Here's the truth. Here's the situation. And I want people to understand something very loud and clear. The road to the Super Bowl is so wide open. I've never seen a wide open road to the Super Bowl like this in the history of the National Football League. Right now, we don't know who's going to the Super Bowl. We know in the NFC, this is what we do know. We know the San Francisco 49ers are 10-1. We know they got to face Baltimore on Sunday. We know the Seattle Seahawks is 9-2. And they're trying to keep pace with the 49ers. We know the New Orleans Saints is 10-2. We know Green Bay and Minnesota's 8-3. Okay? The NFC East is a toss-up, so we know for a fact that it's either going to be Dallas or Philly, but it's probably going to be Dallas more likely than not. And then for the AFC, now this is where the AFC gets fun. The New England Patriots are 10-1. The Buffalo Bills is 9-3. So they're already 2 games behind New England. New England on Sunday has to see Houston. So if they beat Houston, here's the situation with that. They will be 11-1. And they will probably clinch the division as a clinch a playoff spot if and only if the Raiders lose and if the Patriots win. Now for the Raiders, they cannot afford to lose. Because right now, the wild card spots are up for grabs. And I'm going to explain why. Because right now, you've got the Colts at 6-5. You got the Tennessee Titans at 6-5. But you also got the Pittsburgh Steelers at 6-5. Now, Pittsburgh is already going to grab one of those spots. Okay, so with that being said, that's going to be very interesting. Because obviously Pittsburgh is probably not going to go anywhere. Now, if Pittsburgh happens to get a playoff spot, cool. They're not going anywhere. They'll win. They at least can say, look, we got to the playoffs. There's that. New England right now is 10-1, and they cannot afford to lose another game. But Baltimore, now this is what I'm going to tell to all these Ravens fans who keep on raving about Lamar Jackson and keep on talking about the fact that, they beat New England. I'm like, okay, you beat New England one time out of how many times the New England Patriots have beaten you? You got to beat New England when it counts. Because, see, the truth is you don't want to have to travel to New England and try to beat them in Foxborough. It's not going to be easy beating them in Foxborough. I can almost guarantee that. It will not be easy. Okay? Now, the only reason why that might be a little different is because, like I always say, let's look at the defense for the Patriots. They are number 1 overall defense. Okay? Number 1 in points allowed. Number 2 in yards allowed. Okay? Number 2 in yards allowed. Their offense is ranked 5th in the NFL. Now, you wouldn't know that because of the fact that, the way this offense has been looking lackluster. But, that's neither here nor there. Tom Brady's only thrown for 2,942 yards, 15 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. Now, in hindsight's 2020, he has nobody to throw to. So he's got 5 games left. And he's going to see the Houston Texans. Now, it's very possible that he could throw 4-5 touchdowns against this defense, because we all know the Texans ain't got no corners. But I also know that the Texans got a good run defense. Now, if the good Texans were able to stop New England from running the football, that's going to be proved problematic. Okay? That's going to prove problematic. It is what it is. Now, let's talk about the Texans since we're on that subject. They're number 17 ranked defense with the number 10 offense. Now, against the run, like I said, they don't allow a lot of touchdowns. They just don't. It's just what it is. But they do give up a lot of yards. But they don't give up rushing touchdowns. So you can think you could get down there. You're probably not going to be able to punch it in. That's just what it is with the Houston Texans. But in the passing game, they're god-awful. They're 29th in interceptions because they don't get a lot of picks. They just don't. So they're not a good football team. So I'm going to look for New England to throw the football a lot more, especially since they're going to be able to get your Jakobi Meyers in the lineup, N'Keal Harry, Julian Edelman, and then if there's a Mohamed Sanu should be coming back for this game. They come back for this game, they're going to have Brady's going to have 4 receivers to throw to. He could definitely throw for at least 300 to 400 yards on this defense and possibly 5 touchdowns. If he throws any more than 5, then it's just him putting on a clinic. So this is what I foresee with that. Now, the Texans' offense is ranked 10th in the NFL. I do know that Deshaun Watson is a very good quarterback. He's probably not going to be able to throw on his team because Stephon Gilmore, you saw what he did last week to the poor Cowboys. And this week, what's going to happen is he is going to face DeAndre Hopkins. Now, D-Hop is nothing to play with. I do know that D-Hop might get a touchdown or two because he's DeAndre Hopkins. He ain't no slouch. He ain't no bum. He will get his yards. He will get his touchdowns. The guy I'm more worried about for this game is Will Fuller. Because Will Fuller, when he's healthy, he's a baller. He's a dog. Okay? Will Fuller is an excellent receiver. He's got 590 yards receiving and over 3 touchdowns. Okay? Very good wide receiver. Deep threat guy, 41 catches on 60 targets. Obviously, DeAndre Hopkins, 839 yards receiving and 6 touchdowns, and he's tied for the lead. For the lead in touchdowns, receptions this season for the Texans, and he also has 81 catches on 112 targets. So, literally 75% of the time, he's catching the football. A little over 75% of the time. Okay, so with that being said, I foresee that the Texans could definitely, most certainly, put up a fight. I just don't think they're going to beat New England. But New England is traveling to them, so there's always that chance. Now, Baltimore, I feel like they're definitely going to grab that number 2 seed unless New England drops a game. Now, if New England drops a game, then Baltimore will own the tiebreaker because they beat New England, and they will have home field advantage throughout playoffs. This is very possible. It is not unlikely. Houston and Kansas City, they will most likely have to settle for wild card spots at either 11-5 or 12-4. Okay, so that's what it's going to be. Okay, so with that being said, those two teams got to have to figure it out. Now, for the wild card spots, I definitely foresee Pittsburgh getting one of them, and I could most certainly see the Colts getting the other, unless the Titans finish 11-5, which I don't think is going to happen because the Titans' remaining schedule is a little sketchy. Okay, their remaining schedule, I'm not feeling it. They got to see the Colts again. Now, if they beat the Colts, if they beat the Colts this time, then they will not only be the team to go into the wild card, but then they got to face the Texans one more time. They got to face the Texans twice. Then they got to see the Saints and the Raiders. I don't think they're going to beat the Saints. So they'll probably finish 10-6, and it's possible that they could get 10-6 and possibly finish with a wild card spot. But if the Colts, drop a game, drop 2 games, so if they drop a game against the Texans and then drop another game, then the Titans will get this wild card spot. So there's a lot of different playoff scenarios here. So you got things to worry about. But I just don't trust this offense because the offense is ranked 16th in the NFL, but the defense is ranked 9th in the NFL. So the defense has been carrying this team all season long. They've been carrying this team all season long. So they got a lot of guys out. Malcolm Butler's out for the season. Okay? Delaney Walker out for the season. Cameron Wake out for the season. Okay? They got a lot of key guys out for the season. Okay? They got a lot of then this week, they got a lot of defensive players that are hurt right now. Derrick Henry, on the other hand, is the biggest X factor because he was limited in practice this week with a hamstring injury. So it's been very, very tough for the Tennessee Titans. Now, the playoff scenario for that, now they can most certainly try to grab one of those wild card spots. But again, it's going to be tough considering their remaining schedule. Now, in the AFC side, I definitely got the Patriots and the Ravens in the AFC Championship, and it's going to come down to who's going to make the mistake first. Now for the NFC, I'm going to really dive in on you guys. I'm really going to dive in because I've got to talk about the NFC. The NFC is probably the strongest I've ever seen. Now it's very clear and definitive who's going to get these spots. I don't foresee Minnesota losing too many games, nor Green Bay or Seattle. So I hate to say it, it's very clear cut on who's going to win the divisions. I think it's probably, if it's going to be anybody, I'm going to choose the Minnesota Vikings to win the division in the NFC North, and Green Bay will have to settle for a wild card spot. Because right now, the Minnesota Vikings are playing good defense, and they've got a good offense because Kirk Cousins is playing out of his mind with Dalvin Cook playing out of his mind as well. And I like the way this team is playing. They're gelling well, and they're doing a lot of different dynamic things that we wanted this team to do. Okay? Green Bay will probably get a wild card spot at 12-4, so I think the Vikings will win out. Okay? Then, those two teams will come out of the NFC North. NFC South, obviously, is just going to be New Orleans because, Carolina's trash. Tampa Bay can't get out of their own way because Jameis Winston, he's trash. He only throws who knows how many picks. 22 touchdown passes and 20 picks is not going to cut it in this league. I don't care if you throw for almost 4,000 yards. That doesn't mean anything to me. You're 4-7. It's unacceptable. In Atlanta, you saw what happened in that Saints game. How you get 2 onside kicks in and your offensive line doesn't do anything to keep their quarterback upright to win a football game. Don't make sense to me. Cameron Jordan had 4 sacks. 4 sacks. On this season now, thanks to that game, he's got 13.5 sacks. That is ridiculous. There is no reason, and what makes it even worse, and this is another stat line that a lot of people don't know, he has now sacked the same guy 18 times throughout his whole career. He sacked Matt Ryan 18 times. That is the most by any player in the history of the NFL. It's utterly ridiculous. I feel bad for Matt Ryan because his offensive line is trash. Throw those guys in the dumpster. Matter of fact, somebody get on the horn with Waste Management right now and tell them straight up, hey man, look, you need to pick these guys up because they all need to be thrown in the trash. If I'm the Atlanta Falcons, I'm focusing on the O-line and D-line in this upcoming draft. I'm going fat boy heavy. because there's no reason why Matt Ryan should be getting sacked the way he's been getting sacked. Now the NFC West is very, very, very interesting. So Seattle's 9-2. I think with the way they've been playing, I'm almost certain if they don't drop any more games, because their last 5 games, okay, they got to see Minnesota. Now, the problem with that game is that game is going to be a toss-up, and that's going to be a tough one to watch. But if I had to choose who's going to win that Monday night game, I'm going to choose, everybody's going to call me crazy, I'm going to choose the Minnesota Vikings, but it's going to be high scoring. I'm going to choose the Vikings in this one. But then after that, I feel like they're going to win out, because I think they could beat because I know they'll beat the LA Rams. I know they're going to beat the Panthers. I know they're going to beat the Cardinals. And then they're going to end the season with the 49ers. Now, the 49ers got to go to Seattle. But if San Francisco hasn't lost a game by then that'll be a game that they can't afford to lose, because that'll be a game that they can afford to lose, because then I believe they'll be 14-1 going into that game if they don't lose any more games from this point on. So then that means that'll be a game that the Niners can afford to lose, because they'll be 14-2, and then unfortunately for the Seattle Seahawks, they'll be 13-3 as a wild card team. I can most certainly foresee that happening. That is a very likely scenario. So with that being said, it is what it is. I like the way these teams look. I like the way they look. I like the way they've been playing. But what I don't like is their remaining schedules are going to be very, very tough. So the NFC right now, they're looking strong. So teams I got winning number one. Number 1 seed, 49ers, I got them going as a finishing 14-2. New Orleans, I got them finishing 13-3. The Vikings, I got them finishing 13-3. I got them finishing 13-3. Okay? And the reason why I'm going to have them finishing 13-3, and it kind of sucks for them, is they're going to get the third seed, because unfortunately they don't face New Orleans, and New Orleans got a better strength of schedule. That's just what it is. Green Bay will pick up a wild card spot, and I think they're gonna finish also they're gonna finish 12-4, because they got to see the Giants, Redskins, Chicago Bears, and Lions. They most certainly go lose to the Vikings. I feel like this is the Vikings' year. The Vikings will win the division, and they're gonna get the NFC North, and then Green Bay will pick up a wild card spot with the number 6 seed. They'll be 12-4, and Seattle will finish 13-3. Now this is gonna be ugly, because like all these teams are gonna be winning games. Now I've never seen a team get a 13-3 wild card spot, but you know what? Unfortunately, in this NFL, anything is possible. And the Dallas Cowboys, like I said, they're bums. They're going to be 10-6. It is what it is. So, those are my picks. And if I had to choose who's going to be an NFC Championship, I've got most certainly the San Francisco 49ers. And I'm going to pick the odd pick here and go with the Minnesota Vikings. Some odd reason, I think that for some reason, know the Saints are going to find a way to screw it up. I just got that feeling they're going to find a way to screw it up. No question. But those are my picks. So, with that being said, I got Niners and Vikings, with the Niners going to the Super Bowl. And I got Patriots and Ravens in there. But that one's going to be a toss-up. And I'm pretty sure New England does. And now, in history, New England doesn't lose to the same team twice in the same season. They haven't done so since the 2002 Patriots, when they lost to the Miami Dolphins. So with that being said, I most certainly have the Patriots probably beating the Baltimore Ravens in Foxborough if they get home court field advantage. Keyword being only if. All right, folks, I'm going to take a quick commercial break. When I come back, we're going to talk about Lamar Jackson, and then we're going to end the show with Colin Kaepernick. So don't go anywhere on the No BS Show.
Hey guys, I'm Asia Morgan, an intern at WBGR Network and a proud senior of Morgan State University. Here's a few pointers on campus and community safety. Use your eyes and stay alert. Studies show that looking a predator directly in their face causes them to be less likely to choose you as their victim because you then have the means to easily identify them. Focus on your surroundings and not your phone. And never walk alone. Walk in pairs or in groups wherever you go because we are stronger in numbers. If that's not possible, use safety services. Universities have escort services available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Take advantage when leaving late night study sessions, parties, or anything else where you will be usually traveling alone. And when using riding services like Lyft or Uber, always check to see that you're getting into the right car. If you're traveling alone, be a backseat rider, buckle up no matter what, and never forget to share the details of your trip with a friend or family member. Lastly, trust your instincts. If you feel like something is wrong, 9 times out of 10, it usually is. Don't ignore that feeling. This has been a message from the WBGR PSA Project.
And I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, Lamar Jackson. Who is Lamar Jackson? Who is Lamar Jackson? Second-year quarterback out of the University of Louisville. So far this season, he has been blockbuster. He's been electrifying, and he's doing things that I've never seen this kid. That we never seen in a long time. Michael Vick even went as far as to say that this kid is better than Michael Vick. This kid is fast. His Madden rating is high. He's got a 99 in speed. Okay. Last game against the LA Rams, the last 5 games, the Ravens have won by 30 points or more. 30-16 against Seattle, 37-20 over New England, 49-13 over the Bengals, 41-7 over the Houston Texans. And the last game, which we all saw that debacle, 45-6. Okay? 45-6 over the LA Rams. Jalen Ramsey Jalen Ramsey had a rough night. Eric Weddle said that Lamar Jackson fakes the ball so well, he didn't even know what a ball was. He couldn't even see the ball. That's how well that boy is playing. And I've already gonna coin the term, and everybody doesn't want, and Ravens fans can agree with me when I say this. Lamar Jackson, to me, his new nickname is Lamar Houdini Jackson. That's who he is. And I'm so sincere when I say this. You know, his nickname to me is Lamar Houdini Jackson. Because this dude is Harry Houdini. I'm trying to tell you. Like, I think somebody must have went up and found Harry Houdini's grave and said, I'm going to dig him out of the grave and just put him in Lamar's body. I'm telling you right now, this kid is Harry Houdini. Because it's like, it's almost like, because I've never seen an escape artist the way Lamar Jackson is. Okay, let's roll over the stats. 24 touchdown passes, okay, and only 5 interceptions on the year. Only 5 picks. 3 of those picks came from a win over the Pittsburgh Steelers. 2 of those picks came in a loss from the Cleveland Browns, okay? So that's the funniest thing. But since then, been throwing touchdowns after touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. Been running for touchdowns as well. Okay? Rushing touchdowns. His was really, really, really interesting. Okay? Rushing touchdowns. I've been saying this for the longest. 24 is a passing touchdowns with a little over. And just over I'm sorry. 6 rushing touchdowns on the season. So this kid is accounted for 30 touchdowns the whole year. This is ridiculous. I mean, I don't know anybody can stop this kid. Last year, in the 7 games that he played, 7 games that he started, 6-1 as a starter last season. And he is only 21 years old. Okay? And I mean, it's just unprecedented. And then also last year, he had 5 rushing touchdowns. This year, he's got 6 rushing touchdowns, and he's got 876 yards rushing, while he's thrown for 3,000 yards. There's 2,427 yards passing. Okay, this is a lot of yards. Okay, I mean, I've seen a lot of quarterbacks do some great things, but I'm gonna say it like this. The next 3 games are going to be tough. They'll beat the Jets, but they're going to have to see San Francisco, okay, at home. So so that's the great thing. So they're going to have a home game against the San Francisco 49ers, which is Colin Kaepernick's former team, which we will talk about him in the next segment. And then the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. Now, that's going to be a tough one. Okay? That's going to be a tough one. I want people to understand this. When he played Buffalo, the last time he saw them, he was 1-4, 24 yards, no touchdowns, no picks in 2018. But that was only because he came in very, very late in the game, and they was trying to give Flacco a chance, and obviously that didn't work, and it was too late by then. But now we have seen what this kid is capable of, and we know what he can do. If he could beat the 49ers and the Bills, hats off to the Ravens offensive coordinator and the defense. But the Ravens cannot afford to lose this game. They cannot afford to lose it. Because what's going to happen is, right now, the offense is ranked 1 in the NFL. Number 1 offense in the NFL with the number 5 defense. Okay? The problem is with the Baltimore Ravens, and I'm going to say this once. If they see the Niners, if the Niners happen to beat them, then that's going to prove problematic, because then for the New England Patriots, all they're going to do is just win out, and then they can afford to drop a game if they need to drop a game. They can actually afford to lose a game. And because they can afford to lose a game, that means that they will have home field advantage, and then that way they can nurse some injuries. They'll put in the backups like Jarrett Stidham and a lot of the backups to get in some playing time to get ready for the playoffs. So with that being said, if you're a Ravens fan, you need your team to win these next couple of games and need for New England to drop 1. Because all it takes for them to drop 1. And it's very likely against the Chiefs and the Texans. It's very, very likely against the Chiefs and the Texans with the way the New England offense has been playing. Even though the offense for New England is ranked 5 in the NFL, which, a lot of people doesn't understand that stat line. Everybody's been asking me questions about that. And like I said, you can go to ProReference.com to see the stats that I'm talking about when it comes to New England. And then, and I want people to understand, the truth is, there we go. So I'm gonna drop those stats right there for you, so that way everybody can see that. So with that being said, I don't think anybody wants to see, see some of the things that we've been seeing in this league. Now, if you guys happen to click on the links that I just posted in the comment section, you would see the stats on what I was just explaining. Lamar Jackson is a 4-year player out of Louisville. Okay, 4-year player, started as a true freshman. Started as a freshman. Okay, this kid was a Heisman Trophy winner. We saw where he came from. We see how much he loves his mother. He's a humble kid from Pompano Beach, Florida. Then he went to high school in Florida. Was the first round pick in the first round with the dead last pick in the first round. 31 teams passed over him. He was Ozzie Newsome's last pick before he left the NFL forever. Okay? In the 2015 season, okay, he started as a true freshman. Okay, only throwing 12 touchdowns, 8 picks. Wasn't that great of a quarterback at the time. But then his sophomore year, 206, 30 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Gets the Heisman Trophy. Then in his junior year, 27 touchdowns, 10 picks, and then he declares for the NFL draft. And can't nobody stop the kid. Sick kid was measured at 6'2", 216 pounds in the 2018 draft. 216 pounds. Since then, he's now up to 220 pounds. He's a big dude. He's not no slouch. But I also want people to know this stat line, too, when it comes to the 2016 season when he played at Louisville. He also had 21 rushing touchdowns and 1,571 yards rushing. Couldn't nobody stop this dude. This dude was a monster. Then he did the same thing again in 2017. 27 touchdown passes and only 18 rushing touchdowns with 1,601 yards rushing in 13 games for the Louisville Cardinals. That's why it's no surprise to me that he's doing the things that he's doing in the NFL. It's just that now he's realizing that everybody in the NFL is fast. So he'll just sit in the pocket and pick you apart. That's who Lamar Jackson is. Comes from a good background, you know, and unfortunately, you know, his father died young, you know, back in 2005, and his mother had to raise him and his siblings, and it is what it is. And he was born January 7, 1997. So, with that being said, a lot of coaches have believed in him. They saw what this kid can do. They saw how competitive he was, how fast he was, what he could do with that arm. And this kid is now the truth. And so, with that being said, I've been saying that to say this. I knew how special this kid was once I saw him against the Chiefs and the things that he was trying to do against that team. And then I saw how special he was when he plays the LA Chargers. He brought them back and almost won that game. But he was a rookie, so he didn't know much at the time. And, of course, the Chargers go on to lose in New England. That's what they do. So, there's that. And he has shown time and time again why he should be one MVP. And honestly, I've seen a lot of great players come into this NFL, and I firmly believe that he was one of the best quarterbacks to come out of that 2016 draft. 2018 draft. Okay, because in that first round, you know, this is what people don't realize. Let's look at the 2018 draft, and let's look at the quarterback. Sam Darnold, well, obviously he hasn't won since he's really gotten to the NFL. Josh Rosen has went from one team to another, okay? He's nowhere to be found, okay? And that's what's sad. And here's what's crazy is there were only 4 quarterbacks taken in the first round. And then the other one was Baker Mayfield, and he's up and down. He was a Heisman Trophy winner. So, we don't know what's going to happen. It is what it is. Can't nobody tell me what's going to happen with these quarterbacks. Because I'm going to tell you right now, in the first round of this draft, you know, those quarterbacks are nowhere to be found. So that's that. So, now, with that being said, I'm going to take a quick commercial break, folks. When I come back, I'm going to end this with Colin Kaepernick. Don't go anywhere. No BS show.
Veganistic.
It's going to be a veganistic breakfast at Breakfast Mojo, and we're going to give a review at the end of all of this. So let's go ahead and see what we have.
Okay, so what we have here is tofu. And so what you do is you get the tofu in a pack, whichever brand you want to get. It's fine. Get firm tofu and then squeeze the water out in the sink. And once you do squeeze all the water out, because tofu really doesn't have a flavor, it's actually soybean. These little they look like little teeny miniature meatballs. They're sausages. These is Gimme Lean. That is the name of it. So I'm putting them in.
It smells great.
And the reason you don't have to put them in is completely up to you. You know, those of you who
it looks like sausage.
It does look like sausage.
And it looks like eggs.
So what we're going to do is we're going to put some peppers and onions in,
Wow,
which
look
I
at
already
prepared.
already
So
cut
it's
up.
like
Red onions, yellow, orange, and red pepper. Now for our green.
Look at that. So what is it?
Cilantro.
Cilantro, folks.
Yes.
Look at the cilantro.
It's fresh cilantro.
Look at the pretty color there.
This right here is garlic and herb. So it's not gonna be strong though. Now the minced garlic is strong, but this is not.
Oh, some Italian seasoning.
Yes.
Some rosemary. You know, when it's an Italian medley, it's like a melody. You know what I mean?
This is onion and herb.
Onion and herb.
This is lemon pepper.
Lemon pepper. So
Lemon
that's
pepper.
interesting. That's interesting.
I'm making sure that it is going to have a great flavor. Most of the time when people came down with diabetes or any of those diseases, they were in their 70s and 80s. You know, now people are in their 20s and they're being diagnosed. So, you know, you definitely want to eat healthier. I'm not telling you to be a vegan. You know, you don't have to. I am. I've been vegan for 32 years. Yes, I usually put the top on because the steam in it, you know, it helps it to cook long. Now, it doesn't take long to cook.
That looks amazing with this
Tofu scramble.
Tofu scramble.
Some people say tofu eggs.
It tastes like eggs. I can't say it's not. You can't tell me anything different. I'm gonna give it a breakfast brilliant. Because I almost feel like this is not enough. Like I need more.
And it's light. It's light, so you can eat more.
It is light. It is light. It's very flavorful. Breakfast Mojo. I'm Comedian Koi. This is Michelle Mangum. And once again, we'll be back with some more. Don't forget to subscribe with some more Breakfast Mojo. So make sure you tune in, huh?
And I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, final topic of the evening. I mean, the morning. Colin Kaepernick. You know, I've been saying this for the longest about Colin Kaepernick. I really had to wonder, what is it that Colin Kaepernick could have done to really, like, show me that he wanted to be in the NFL. And I tell you what's even more frustrating. I actually I think that, and a lot of people's going to call me crazy for this, I may be wrong, but I honestly think that Colin Kaepernick might be done with the NFL for good. I don't, and I say that with a heavy heart, because this recent debacle, and this to me was just an unprecedented debacle. The fact that they had that workout the way they did, the way the NFL tried to dictate to him what he did, isn't what they wanted him to do. The fact that the NFL was able to say, hey, look, if you do this, we'll have all these people here for you. But we don't want no media coverage. Why don't you want any media coverage? Is it something you're trying to hide? Oh, wait. You're more worried about your fan base, which we all know who their fan base is, because Steve Kerr has said it best many, many times. We all know who their fan base is, and you know, because like I think what always gets me, and I've been saying this for the longest time, I'm so sick of. I'm not gonna. Actually, no, I am gonna say it. Certain groups of people who claimed his kneeling was disrespectful to the military. First off, if I want to give a history lesson, okay? I like giving history lessons, actually. I actually think history lessons are fun for everybody. when this country was founded on that supposed flag, right? The 13 colonies, blah, blah, blah. Let's talk about that. First off, this country was founded on slavery and racism towards African American people. Okay, let's go all the way back in history. Now, I know everybody wants to be like slavery was so long ago. No, it wasn't that long ago, because it was definitely only 1865, and it is still, what is this, 2019? It was only like 150, 170 years ago. It really was not that far off. Okay, actually, I'm sorry. No, when you do the math, because it ended in 1865, so that means that a little over 164 years ago. 164 years ago. Sorry to tell people this, it really was not that far away. Now, it really was not that far. We're still feeling the effects of it. Then let's look at the facts. Blacks were still not able to vote. Blacks were still not able to play in the sports that we're playing in today, that were founded by white Americans. We were not even allowed to even fight in the, we ended up fighting in the military. Yeah, that was cool, but then eventually we had a segregated army. We had a segregated army for a long time, up until World War II. And even then, it was still a segregated army, because they didn't integrate the army until after World War II. It was a segregated military. There are so many Medal of Honor recipients. So since everybody wants to say that they're disrespectful to that he's being disrespectful to the military, no, what he's saying is he wants African Americans to be treated equal under the U.S. Constitution. Just because he takes a knee at that flag. Well, let's talk about that flag, because that very same flag was the very same flag that oppressed the very minorities of this nation. The very same minorities who helped build this nation. The very same minorities that built the White House. The very same White House that President Donald Trump is sitting in. Those are the facts. But if we want to go back, but nobody wants to talk about the history, because they're like, well, it was so long ago. No, it wasn't so long ago, because the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which stopped the racism of black people from not being able to vote, wasn't passed until 1964, which is only 5 years from a lot of people who are in their 50s right now. Because my grandparents still remember it. Because they still remember it. They still dealing with it to this day. They still see some of the things that's going on to this day. And it still bothers them. But Kaepernick kneeling is disrespectful to the military. No. It's not. And there was a veteran that told him to take a knee. And everybody wants to listen to this rhetoric and listen to hearsay and listen to all these different things, just because one person or a bunch of people who have an issue with another race of people want to say, well, it's about this. No. Kaepernick has said it multiple times. It was never about the military. That very same flag that we're all talking about was the same flag that has oppressed people for years. It wasn't until recently that people started realizing that no, if we're going to be all under this flag, then we all need to be treated equal. So, and don't tell me that there's another way of going about it, because people have tried to protest many times, but laws are not being changed and the police is still behaving the way they're behaving. So until that changes, that's why he continued to kneel. But unfortunately, after this workout, I firmly believe that Kaepernick is going to be done. He's going to continue to be blacklisted, regardless of how good he is. They would rather pick Jay Cutler or Joe Driscoll or bum white American quarterbacks than pick this African American quarterback who an NFL exec had said has an elite arm and has taken his team to the Super Bowl, but because of his politics and his ideals, he will never be back in the NFL again. And don't tell me it's because he sued the NFL, because there have been plenty of people who have sued the NFL, sued their employer and have gotten their job back. Plenty of people. It has happened throughout the federal government. It has happened throughout the private sector. You cannot tell me that people have not sued and have gotten their job back at their job. Now, they might have ended up leaving their job after they got their job back, but there are a lot of people who have sued and gotten their job back. But that being said, I think Colin Kaepernick is done, and this is retaliation at its finest. And if I'm Colin Kaepernick, I might be filing another lawsuit. But hey, that's none of my business, though. That's it, folks. I want to thank everybody for tuning in this morning. So I want everybody to look up above. I want everybody to go to the No BS YouTube page. I want everybody to go check that out and check out the Facebook viewer group right there, right above me at the No BS Knows About Sports Talk Show viewer page. Go to the YouTube page, look at past shows. I want people to look at that as well, so go ahead and go to that. Subscribe. Please look at past shows. Comment. Let me know what you think. Also, hit me up on Facebook. For those of you who have my personal number, you know where to find me, or otherwise, email me. Go to No BS Knows About Sports Talk, theblogspot.com to check out look out some articles. Follow my blog. So follow that blog on Blocker. Okay? Check out my social media. Insane_Shane29, Underground SB29, Shiz_29, and No BS No Holds Barred. And then follow me on undergroundsportslc.blogspot.com. If you want to advertise with the show, or sponsor me and the show, please go to Underground Sports LLC. Let's go to the next one. Underground Sports LLC at gmail.com. I want everybody to go ahead and just email me there, and I will most certainly respond. So, go to the next one. And then Christmas is upon us, folks. Christmas is upon us. It's going to be on the 25th, obviously. So, No BS, the district, the team, thank you for all of you guys' hard work. No BS is out of the building. Peace.